If you're using credit advice that worked years ago, there's a good chance it's actually hurting your credit today, even if you think you're doing everything right. Most people genuinely believe they are doing everything right. They pay their bills, they don't max out their cards, and they try to be responsible. Yet their score stays stuck. Or, better yet, it barely moves, or it never quite reaches that next level. Today, I'm going to break down how credit actually works, how to raise your credit score faster, how to protect your credit card, and how to use credit cards the smart way without sabotaging your finances. And everything I'm about to share with you are the same methods I personally use to get and maintain an over 800 plus credit score. There's no gimmicks, there's no shortcuts that only work once, and they are just systems that work long term. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Martin, and on this channel, I break down money, credit, investing, and financial strategies in a way that's simple, practical, and realistic. I'm here to help you understand how money actually works. So if that sounds useful, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with a friend because credit affects most of every part of our adult life, whether people realize it or not. Now, before we talk strategy, we need to start with a foundation. What is credit and how does it actually work? Let's define credit in plain English. Credit is your ability to borrow money or use services now with the promise to pay later. That's it. But credit just isn't about borrowing money. Your credit history is basically your financial reputation. It tells lenders, landlords, insurance companies, utility providers, and sometimes even employers one thing. Can this person be trusted through on a financial commitment? That's why good credit matters so much. Good credit helps you buy a home at a lower interest rate, finance a car without overpaying, rent an apartment with fewer hurdles, avoid massive utility deposits, pay less for insurance, access to better financial opportunities. Bad credit does the opposite. It doesn't just mean no, it means higher interest rates, worse terms, more rejections, and paying for more for the same exact thing. That's why people with good credit quietly save thousands of dollars over their lifetime without doing anything flashy. This is why old advice fails. Here's the problem. Most people are still following outdated credit advice, like just pay on time, never use your credit cards, debt is always bad, and don't check your credit too often. That advice is incomplete for today. Credit today is more automated, more data-driven, more sensitive to utilization, and more vulnerable to fraud. Credit is no longer passive. You don't set it and forget it. You have to manage it intentionally. Once you understand that shift, credit stops being confusing. How do credit scores actually work? Most lenders use a FICO score, and it's broken down like this. It's 35% payment history, 30% amounts owed, which is utilization, 15% length of credit history, 10% new credit, and 10% credit mix. Right away, you can notice one thing that's very important. You don't need to master all 5 perfectly. If you focus on the big 2, which is paying on time and keeping your balances low, you're already controlling 65% of your credit score. Quick myth to clear up. Checking your own credit does not hurt your score. Only hard inquiries do. Now let's talk about what you really want to know. How to raise your credit score fast. The truth is, there are only 2 actions that move the score the fastest. Everything else helps, but these 2 matter the most. Paying all your bills on time and lowering your credit card utilization. When done correctly, these 2 can show improvements on your credit score in as little as 30 to 90 days. To improve our scores, we need to pay down the amount of credit card utilization, which is the amount of credit that we're currently using, which makes up 30% of our score. If you have a $10,000 limit and you're using $4,000, that's a 40% utilization, and that alone can hold you back. The goal should be below 30% and ideally below 10%. And here's the key. As soon as a lower balance is reported on the credit card bureaus, your score can improve. You don't have to wait years, and you don't even have to pay off your credit card completely. Strategically paying down can trigger noticeable improvements quickly. Another powerful tool is becoming an authorized user on a strong credit card. The ideal account has a long history, a perfect payment record, and a low balance. When added, that account can appear on your credit report. That means their payment history helps you, and their credit limit helps your utilization. For some people, this creates an almost immediate boost. You don't even have to use the card. Errors on credit card reports are extremely common. You should dispute things like incorrect late payments, accounts that aren't yours, wrong balances, and collections that should have fallen off. You can get free weekly credit reports at annualcreditreport.com. This pulls from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. If something is wrong, you can dispute it immediately. This isn't gaming the system, it's correcting your financial record. You can get credit for bills that you're already paying. Services like Experian Boost allow certain bills to count, such as phone bills, utilities, and streaming services. If you've been paying on time, adding them sometimes can raise your score quickly, especially with a thin credit profile. Now, let's talk about long-term foundational strategies. Make every payment on time. Payment history is 35% of your score. One missed payment can stay on your report for 7 years. Automation is your best friend. Autopay, alerts, calendar reminders are things to set up to help you remember to pay your bill on time. There's no reward for remembering, but there are penalties for forgetting. Keep old accounts open. Length of your credit history makes up 15% of your score. Closing old cards can shorten your credit age, reduce available credit, and increase your utilization. If there's no annual fee, keeping cards open often helps more than closing them. Limit new credit card applications. Each hard inquiry can temporarily drop your score. One isn't that big of a deal. Several close together can be a big deal. Apply for credit intentionally, not impulsively. One of the most overlooked steps is freezing your credit. A credit freeze is 100% free. It's required by federal law. It prevents unauthorized accounts, and it can be temporary. Freeze your credit at Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. If your credit isn't frozen, you're trusting strangers to not open accounts under your name. Credit cards aren't bad. Poor habits are. Rules that matter are never miss your payments, never max out your cards, and don't open too many at once. Best practices is have 1 to 2 cards to start, have small recurring purchases, and do auto pay for the minimums. Don't close old cards, carry balances to build credit, and rapid fire a bunch of different applications. Interest does not help your credit score. Discipline does. This is how to check your credit report the right way. Use annualcreditreport.com for reports. Understand the difference. Credit Karma is the Vantage score, and lenders usually use FICO. Check FICO at bank apps and credit card apps and Experian. Your credit score is a snapshot. Your report tells the story. Here's the utilization timing hack. Pay your cards before the statement closes, not just before the due date. That's what gets reported. Most people don't think about freezing their children's credit. Parents can freeze their children's credit to prevent identity theft early. Here's the truth about credit. Good credit doesn't come from being rich, it comes from being intentional. These are the same systems that I use to maintain and build an over 800 plus credit score, and they work when applied consistently. If this video helped you, like it, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.